But why kill Holm?
He was your brother. Why did you kill him? He never meant you any harm.
Yeah.
Oh, Louis, I am exhausted. Let's talk about this later.
You're also about to be punished.
No, tell me why now. I want to understand.
Stubborn as a mule. After centuries of trying to convince him, I assure you I had no other option than to do away with him.
Oh,
He
BS.
would never have allowed me to depose our father.
BS.
In the past, he had already opposed me, and sometimes very violently. He seemed to you like a man of peace, because you did not represent any danger to him. But I can assure you, he was not.
both
With anything to
were
do
bad.
with our father, he would be merciless. In any case, what's done is done. I'm going to rest in the dining room.
Both of you
Join me
are
there
terrible.
when you're ready.
No.
Time has come to end this little antisocial gathering.
How am I going to go up against
about
my
it.
father?
This family is rotten to the marrow.
Yeah.
I did right not to trust them. Holm
Yeah.
told me that my last resort was to find my sister. I hope Emily's in her room.
Join Lady Hillsborough in her room to ask her for her help. Yeah. This is getting redonkulous. And I don't have any more royal jelly or caramel water because I picked them all up. So all I have left is to ask Emily for help.
Monsieur Jacques Perru, Monsieur Napoleon Bonaparte.
They're all in their rooms, resting. Of course they are. And this is Emily's room.
Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
My sister.
Emily?
Yes. What's happening, Louis? You look...
Holm is dead.
Good God, he did it!
What do you mean?
He warned me that Mortimer would probably try to get rid of him. He couldn't believe it himself. But we have to admit that he was right to be wary. We are in great danger, Louis.
Wait, what are you talking about?
When Gregory came to warn me, he assured me that we would be the next to go down.
I forgot what her vulnerabilities were. Immune to questioning and logic, but vulnerable to psychology. Questioning and logic. So I can use those. It's a nightmare.
But that's impossible. He's our father.
I'm only repeating what Gregory told me. When I brought up the possibility of us running away as quickly as we could, Gregory dissuaded me. He thought that Mortimer would see it coming and that we would have no chance.
I guess I agree with him. And now we're here. I'm not gonna let him get away with it. There's two of us now, Emily. We can count on each other.
Well, on that note, I haven't told you everything, Louis. This might be a bit hard for you to accept, so I wanted to warn you.
What is it now?
There are three of us.
Do I have a twin as well?
Surprise, brother.
Excuse me?
It's Emma, Louis. Just before he disappeared, Holm explained to me how to bring her back from the ether. We were pressed for time
And the only body she could find was one of those cursed servants. Can you believe it?
Emma, don't start, please. I didn't exactly have much of a choice.
Okay.
Be that as it may, I'm the one inside the body of a masked lackey.
I had to deal with the most urgent thing first. We'll try and get you out of there as soon as we can, just as I promised you.
So we can get our
And
mom
I'll
out there
make
too.
sure you make good on your commitment, sister.
Emma, for the last time.
She is better, don't worry. Being a demon changes many things, and the prospect of getting stuck in the ether for eternity has opened her eyes.
Are you sure?
Well, I guess it's your decision, but I hope you know what you're doing.
Are we ready? Can we go
She
now?
did try to kill
Louis,
us.
At this point, it doesn't matter what you think about me. You need me. I'm guessing you are well aware of what we're about to face, aren't you?
Not really. No.
That's just what gives us a chance, is it not?
It's usually the only argument the reckless have in their favor.
Take heart. We're only about to confront an age-old creature that can read our thoughts and force us to act against our will and wants to devour us. So what's the problem?
If that is your attitude, I suggest we reevaluate the possibility of running away.
Stop it. Let's all just calm down. Only a few minutes ago, it was just the two of us. Things are looking up. Our chances are only getting better.
How do we get rid of him then?
Killing him won't change a thing, normally. He is capable of changing bodies.
I know how to kill a demon, and the irony of it is, he's the one who revealed it to me. We have to make him touch the blood of an older demon in order to encase him
So
in his
where are we
mortal
gonna
body.
get that?
This is the only way that might give us a chance of dealing him a fatal blow.
The Longinus
and
Spear?
I've got the Holy Lance.
What's that got to
It
do
might
with
not be. I
demons?
hope it's the real
Christ
one.
was his father. Believe me, if we get out of here alive, I'll have a lot of juicy details to tell you about the family. This lance actually received the blood of an ancient demon, and it can work on Mortimer.
Let's do it then.
Yes, I agree. I love that the servant's voice gets a chance to shine
Are
in the
you
finale.
sure you're ready for this? Will you be all right?
Yes. Yes, I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me.
These writers
you wish.
definitely had a field day with all these twists. Christ was a demon. Yeah, this is very... Christ was his father and his demon, and Christ was a demon. Wow, okay. This game really, really took a lot of liberties. It's interesting. You know, I guess resurrecting from the dead and all that. Okay, so that's really interesting. Okay, all right, all right. Okay. Here's a question for you folks. So, Emma is now in the... Emma is our sister, and she is now in the servant's body. And we all know that Louis has a soft spot for all of the servants here, a personal soft spot, because he's been seducing them like whoa. So here's my question. Is it considered incest if it is the sister's mind but in the servant's body? That's what I want to know, because I have zero interest at all in having Louis do that. But I'm just wondering, like, hypothetically, if this was something that actually was a thing, is it the body that makes it incest? Is it the mind that makes it incest? Or is it both? You guys tell me. Debate. Debate. Let that blow your mind for a bit. Oh, hark. Oh, hark. It was mentioned last episode. Oh, wow. It was mentioned last episode. I don't think as AA unlocked a particular dialogue. Oh. I did not unlock the particular dialogue. So I guess all the major leaders, deities, are also demons or influenced. Makes a lot of historical things quite more interesting than they already were. I wonder if Joan of Arc was one, or someone whispered into her ear. I think a lot... I feel like what they're implying is many of the figures who made amazing advances to humanity was actually a demon. So let's see. That means Einstein could have been a demon. That means Martin Luther King could have been the demon. Thomas Edison could have been a demon. Beyonce is probably a demon. Beyonce is probably a demon. Bill Gates was probably a demon. Who else? Al Gore, the one who invented the internet, is probably a demon. They're all demons. We just figured it out, folks. That explains everything. Everything. Let's see. Also, I think Mortimer... Let's see. There's other servants. Well, there's plenty of other servants. I don't think servant Emma would really be agreeable at this point. Probably not, because of different body and different blood. Yeah, I think part of what makes incest bad is the obvious medical reasons, physical reasons, where if that led to having a baby, then that baby would have serious health problems. But even if it doesn't, even if you sleep with your relative, and even if you're not going to have a baby, if two same-gendered people in the family, had relations with each other, that's still considered incest, and it's still considered in most of society. Most of society considers that bad. So maybe, but is it because of the mind then, or is it the anyway? I had no idea before I started playing this game that we were going to be talking about this topic. But now that this has happened, I'm like, okay, interesting. Especially considering how we could have slept with Emily, apparently. And yeah, that this game is all sorts of... This game is something. This game is something. And it ends up taking you to places that I never thought I would ever explore. Also, I think, like Mortimer briefly mentioning his father punishing him or forcing him being into, like, one of the Greek people, like around Caesar's time, forcing him to be a warrior or so. I'm sure one person has a vid on all the dialogue, since people do that on YouTube, even though the council isn't as popular as a varied thing like Mass Effect. Oh, that's something. Yeah, well, I think the problem with incest was that having child with siblings had a higher chance of malformations. So if having other bodies solves that, that should be fine. Either that or they're funded by demon sugar daddies. Beyonce is definitely a demon with those sassy moves. I know, right? That would explain a lot if Beyonce was a demon. And I don't care. I wouldn't care. Nobody would care. Lady Gaga, probably a demon. I mean, so many people. Einstein makes sense. I think about it. The discoveries he made led to the atomic bomb. All the fiendish ladies. Yes. Thank you. Now I've got that in my head. Considering how there's only like 8 total families or so, I assume there's intermingling unless demons can make humans pregnant to pass on their powers, unless they don't like half-breeds. Be cool to see if it is an adaptation. Well, that's just as taboo. At some point, people said incest is bad, and from then on, people just don't like it, even if no sexual relationship is involved. All the reality show hosts are just modern demons who don't care about politics but want to do drama, entertainment. Yeah. I would love to guess who all the demons are. That would be super fun. I don't think I can actually go into any of these people's rooms, because they're all asleep conveniently or inconveniently. All right. That being said, in this universe, I also want to believe that not all demons are bad or evil. Whose room is this? Johann Vollner's.
Johann,
Louis?
Hello.
I haven't the time.
what are you doing?
I'm getting out of here. What do you think? And going as far away as possible. Sir Gregory is dead. And in case you haven't grasped it yet, I am no longer safe
Right,
here.
'cause that's his
If
son.
you value your life, you had better do the same.
Hey, wait a
No,
second. What do you...
no, I haven't time. Good luck in the future.
Good luck to you too, sir. Yeah, get out of Dodge while you still can. While you still can. Ooh, added in very dangerous liaisons. Why didn't I find that before? I could have read that a while ago. But alas, no. Napoleon Bonaparte. I think the story took a leap too abruptly and betrayed expectations. Yeah. Well, I think Mortimer mentioned a lot. Mortimer mentioned a lot are in hiding, don't reveal themselves, so there's probably just some just keeping to themselves and not getting involved in human affairs. Maybe that's how the stories of witches, old men in the woods get started. Probably. Well, if he's leaving permanently, perfect time to snoop in his room. I don't know if anything new would have popped up, though. That's why it's best to go into stuff with no expectations. This is a Euro janky game. Yeah, but I'm enjoying it quite a lot. That's not the dining room. Alright, so, what's the plan? This brother and sister now. Transition sister. Who's
Louis,
transition
there you
brother?
are. Look, she's better.
Perfect.
Good. Are you ready, Louis? Can we go?
I mean, I'm ready.
Yes.
Let's just get this over
Let's
with.
get it over with.
Let's get it over with. I might have missed something, but I feel like time is of the essence, so we're gonna go.
Louis, I've been expecting. I see you haven't come alone. To
Oh,
what do I
yes.
owe the honor, Duchess?
I thought this discussion should concern the whole family.
Surprise, father.
Emma. You brought her back from the ether. Well, I am impressed, my children.
It's over, Father.
We can't let you go on like this.
Enough!
Louis!
Who on earth do you think you are, for heaven's sake? Did you think I wouldn't know what you are planning? You are mere insects compared to me. You never had a chance.
Help! My head! Let's do it!
Now!
Ah, how dare you!
Keep going, it's working!
Get him!
Louis! No!
Arm yourself with a nail. Arm yourself with the lance.
No! Don't do it!
It's over. You've lost.
Hope it's the right one.
No! Stop!
I hope it's the right one.
My son,
You
will
didn't treat me
regret
like a
your
son.
actions when you see him.
Oh, so maybe it was the right lance.
Come, Louis. It's over.
That was anticlimactic. That was okay. Well, that was it. So are we gonna go see the father? But is he dead? I don't know. Was that it? Really? That's it? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. I mean, okay. So, and then we leave the island. That's okay. If that's it, that's a little anticlimactic. That's it?
Von Volmer tightened his political and
Okay.
spiritual grip on King Frederick William.
On the death of the king in 1797, Johann retired with his wife to his country estate in order to continue his work on his theological and alchemical thesis.
Manuel Godoy's close relationship with Napoleon enabled him to claim a part of Portugal, as well as the protection of France upon the fall of the kingdom. He died in the company of his beloved mistress Pepita after recovering all his titles and properties. Napoleon Bonaparte continued his political and military rise until his self-proclamation as emperor. His excessive ambition would cost the lives of 1,700,000 Frenchmen and leave France poorer and weaker than ever before.
Deported and imprisoned by the British on St. Helena Island, he died on the 5th of May, 1821, as an exile to general indifference.
During his second term, George Washington had to deal with a number of rebellions. He enraged public opinion by building close diplomatic links with Great Britain, which forced him to give up a third term in office. He retired to his country estate until his death, without being able to implement the annexation of the highly coveted Louisiana
So we
territory.
never get the Louisiana Purchase.
The Duchess,
Interesting.
through her relationship with the Crown, made it possible for Great Britain to build closer links to the United States on both the diplomatic and the commercial fronts. She became inseparable from the Marchioness Cunningham, reputed for being the most influential mistress of King George IV of England, and whom she inducted into the Golden Order. His Eminence was obliged to justify himself on his return over the letter he had sent to His Holiness. His mental health was called into question, and consequently he was withdrawn from papal state power.
It was said in polite undertones that he had been sent to a faraway retreat, the better to hide his anonymous confinement in an asylum of
I
Rome.
feel bad for Piaggi. That's not a good ending
On
for him
his
at all.
return to Paris, Peyrou resigned from his posting as judge at the revolutionary courts. He withdrew to the south of France with his daughter until his death. Nothing more was ever heard of Lord Mortimer. His sudden disappearance was a topic of conversation in the European courts, but only for a few months.
And then Sarah Desrochers ended up haunting Louis Desrochers for the rest of his life. So, but what happened to Louis Desrochers? Achievement unlocked. Sober? I defeated Lord Mortimer using the Holy Lance. I defeated Lord Mortimer with my sisters. I left the island safe and sound. You mean sister and brother. I left the island safe and sound. I got help from the Hillsbury sisters to confront Lord Mortimer. So I'm wondering if there's other things that could have happened. I did not take Al-Azif back to the continent. Yeah, I never found the Al-Azif. That ended up not being like a high priority for me, apparently. Wow. Well, that was the end, folks. Wow. That flew by. So for those of you who... So I will start a Q&A session. If you guys have any questions to ask me, I'm not sure if you guys do, but if you do, please put them down on the comments below. Also, let me know what your opinion of this game is overall. Actually, what was your opinion of this final episode, and what was your opinion of the game overall? So I'll give my thoughts. I'll share my thoughts before I start reading everybody else's. Well, I think now that I just finished it, the obvious critique I should give it is that the ending was ridiculously anticlimactic. It was bad. In my opinion, it was just bad because it just seemed like we were building up and building up and building up, and it just led to this showdown where he is like, oh, I'm gonna raise my arms at you. No, yes, you all are insects. Quick, do it now. Oh, what are you doing? And then stab, and then glare, and that was it. Which was, it just did not. It was so anticlimactic. I feel like the writers could have done way better. They could have come up with something that was much more... It didn't feel like it was the ending of a 5-episode game. It was very disappointing. I mean, obviously I like the fact that you are able to get information on each of the different surviving characters and what happened to them as a result. It would have been really cool, though, if they also included the what happened because of the characters who didn't make it. Like, they should have made a mention about Elizabeth Adams and made a mention about Sarah Desrochers, and they should have made a mention about Home, and like what they, just because they die doesn't mean that you can't give some sort of spiel about what happened because they died, or what was the result of what happened because they died. It is interesting, though, how many, that we never actually got the Louisiana Purchase, so that means that America never actually doubled in size, which means America could have just stayed, far small. Definitely probably would have stayed much far smaller than it did, and ended up not being a superpower that is today, which is really interesting, really interesting. So the finale was disappointing in that it wasn't really worth being a finale. It had... They really should have... Now, I don't know what they could have done instead, but I'm sure they could have done something much better than that. There wasn't even any, skill checks, really. There wasn't... They could have thrown in some skill checks. They could have thrown in something. Now, it does seem like there were different ways that the ending could have played out. There were different ways you could have killed Mortimer. Maybe at the end, if you had sided with Home, it was Home who ended up killing Mortimer, and then we would have had to kill Home. That's what I'm guessing. So I'm sure that there were many different paths that would have ended up leading to the ending. Because you could have also defeated Lord Mortimer with the Al-Azif. You could have defeated him with the spear. But that still doesn't excuse... Despite all that, it still wasn't enough it still was a very anticlimactic ending. And so that was very disappointing. Does that spoil the whole game for me? I don't think it spoils the whole game for me. It just made it I was just very disappointed in it. Overall, there are a lot of things about this game that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the skill system a lot. I really enjoyed, all the challenges and trying to get to know all the different characters and trying to bond with the characters. A lot of the choices that you made did seem to matter a lot and did seem to have very, very major consequences throughout. So that's good. That is very, very good. And I kind of like that they took creative liberty in taking our known history and just turning it upside down. Making first of all, making it so that things in history here didn't quite play out nearly as the way history played out in real life. The whole thing about demons and the whole thing about Christ apparently being a demon and Christ being the father of Mortimer. So, I mean, that's definitely creative. It's definitely creative. So that was, I liked that. I liked that they did that a lot, actually. And before, if anyone's wondering, no, I mean, as a Christian, I don't take offense to it because this is a piece of fiction and it's supposed to be meant to be a piece of fiction. And so if in this world Christ was a demon, it's a video game. So I don't take any offense to it at all. And I hope nobody else takes offense to it either. So I still believe Beyonce is a demon. That's the big takeaway that I have from this game. Other critiques I have, obviously, I've mentioned multiple times. The soundtrack leaves a lot to be desired. They pretty much use the same song. They only seem to have 2 or 3 songs, and they use it over and over again. And there are moments where the music just is so inappropriate. There were moments that were emotional or creepy or fearful, and the same song, the same lighthearted do is playing in the background, and it so doesn't fit, and it spoils that moment. I'm like, oh, this scene could have been 10 times better if you had the right music behind it. So that's another thing that was really disappointing. The animation was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it's okay. It passed. The voice acting, again, was okay. Nobody seemed to be terrible, but some of them, the delivery of some of them were kind of okay. The fact that many of them didn't really have the right accents, Louis and Sarah did not have French accents at all. That was a little weird to me. I felt that Sarah's voice actor was one of the weakest ones. Louis' voice actor was okay, but I wouldn't say he was particularly strong. He was okay. He was passable. I like his voice actor was great in the sense that I liked him. I liked Louis. His voice made me like him, the way that his voice was delivered. But I think I had a lot of issues with Sarah's voice actor a lot. She just fell flat for me. So there are a lot of good things about this game. There's also a lot of bad things about the game. Overall, I had fun playing it. I'm glad I played it, and I would probably play through it again and try to get more of a perfect run through of it now that I know how things work. And the puzzles are legit. If you want a great game with tough, challenging puzzles, this is a good game for that. This is a really good game for that. And I like that there are ways to make the puzzles easier by skills. I think that's a genius way of handling it. So this is great for for puzzle lovers. Definitely is not a game that I would recommend to everyone. I think there's certain players who would appreciate this game for what it is. So it's a good game. I think that overall it tries, I guess. it's a good game that tries, but it's got a lot of flaws, and it depends on each person who plays it whether or not those flaws are glaring enough that it just completely spoils your experience, that makes you feel like you've wasted your money or not. It was good enough that I enjoyed it for what it was, and I would play it again. But your mileage may vary because of many of the things I had. The last critique I have with it is that near the end, like by episode 4, things got really, really, really crazy, and I felt it was very jarring, that it just felt a little bit out of place when they started dropping all these twists. Oh, you're a demon. Okay, well, okay. Oh, that girl you could have slept with, she's your sister. Oh, your mother is actually your sister. Oh, look, now you have a brother now who is actually your twin sister who's now in another body, and then it just got really ridiculous from there. And I can't help but like point out that maybe that was a bit much, and that the writers flew a little bit off the handle, and I think all of the shock factors was a little excessive, to the sense that you're like, okay, now this is getting really dumb and ridiculous. So that's the last like critique I'll say about the game right now. So let me see what you guys think. And again, if you guys have any questions to ask me that have about this game or have nothing to do with this game, it is completely your show. I think they might have rushed the finale, but there are some variations, though nothing too big. Yeah, only half of the people in the island died. Yay. Asahel offers you a deal if you talk to him without reading his mind, but I don't know if that'd be worth it, though. I'm sure you can look it up on YouTube if you're curious. And there is a way to find Al-Azif, but I don't remember how much difference it is from using the lance. Very interesting. Hopefully your fake letter didn't screw over Piaggi too much. I feel like it did. And the problem with I was a little upset by the letter because it seemed like I was forced into that. I was kind of forced to screw over Piaggi, basically. The game never gave me the opportunity to like back out of it. So that for me was a problem. I did not like that at all. It's cool that you can see the repercussions of your actions. Wait, this song is more creepy. Why didn't they use this for the creepy parts? I know, right? Warm Fireplace? I know. Oh, cool. Seems like you picked the right one. Yeah. Maybe they got a composer to quickly do a new song right for the very end. Grizz might be a good quick game to play, check out at one point, though I think I'd rather see you play Rakued first. Grizz. I've heard of those games. Yeah, there was any cool hard puzzle this time. The puzzles with rearranging the guests was interesting. I thought that was really clever and creative. The only critique I have about that puzzle is that I don't think they gave you enough hints. It got to the point where you just were stuck, and you kind of, in the only way that I felt, unless Conpeito Kiss gave me that hint, I would have just looked it up, the solution, because I was legitimately stuck, and I'm not gonna just sit there for an hour, like spinning my wheels while you guys are just watching me spin my wheels for an hour. I had to look it up. And so that's the one design flaw I thought from that particular puzzle, is they should have given you more hints, more abilities to unlock hints. It was mostly only the character sorting that was a bit of a pain. The paintings memory thing was more time consuming than challenging, I think. I agree with that. It'd be amusing as a cartoon. You could probably look up the other endings and react to it later. I expected this game to be one of those 10 people on an island, they start dying, and you have to find out who the killer is, and at first it looked like it, but then it took a super strange leap. That's pretty accurate, I think, that's pretty accurate, Warm Fireplace. Co-funded by the EU. Wonder what kind of implications that has demons are in the EU. Demons cause breakfast, #conspiracy theory. So I overall thought this game was just okay. Up into the whole demon reveal, I was following everything just fine. Then that came up and I just lost everything. My mind was just messed up because of all the plot twists that happened in episode 4. And then episode 5 came with that anticlimactic ending that I got, and that's why it became okay. If the story was a little different, then I would give it a higher score. Evan, I think I agree with you completely there. I think you and I are like completely in the same wavelength. Yeah, it was a bit ridiculous, but I think I have more fun watching other LPers reacting, playing it, than playing it myself. I can find that really. Actually, yes, I agree with you. I think this is a game I would love to like watch other Let's Players just react to, especially the ridiculousness that is Episode 4. Probably I would have ended up dying messing up on every puzzle, especially the hand one. Oh, the hand puzzle. Oh, that was brutal. I was so stressed out by the hand puzzle. I did appreciate the hand puzzle in that it was such high stakes. You felt the tension and you felt how high the stakes were because you could lose a hand. Which is very bold for a game like this. So I do applaud the writers for that. Definitely, credit where credit is due. It would have been, I think it would have been better if they just gave the option for 2 possible endings and made those 2 more interesting. I agree. Hopefully they'll reuse the skill tree system in the future. Maybe in other games. I feel like this gameplay has a lot of potential, and I feel like if they were to make a new game that had a lot of these game mechanics, to say similar game mechanics in it, I think they would have a much more successful game. Plus have a much better ending, a more climactic ending. The RPG elements were great. The choices determined what stats you got in the skill trees. I thought that was the best thing about the game. It stinks the story didn't hold up either. Yeah, I agree with you, 100%. Well, there is a deal you can make with SML, Mortimer's father, but it can end up backfiring on you too, I think. So, wait, Mortimer's father is Christ, so is SML Christ? I'm very confused. I'm very, very confused. Hopefully they made enough of a budget to spend on music for their next game or find free to use music. I know, I work for a company, a website where you can get stock music. You pay for a subscription, a low subscription, and you get unlimited downloads and stock music. They should use us. If any of you guys on the programmers of this game are watching, talk to me about hooking you guys up. Talk to me. We can make a deal. Maybe we can make a deal. Yeah, this opened our eyes to Beyonce. Are you a demon, Hark? Would you like to be a demon and have those powers? I would like to not be a demon because, I'm angel arts. So I'm very much, demon is not something I would like to be. Very much not. It's their demon accent. Oh, that explains it, Conpeto Kiss. Maybe it's because they have the gift of tongues. Also, have you seen Brian Deckhart's channel? Oh, yeah. I love Brian Deckhart. He is so great. And his channel, he's so good to his fans. Brian Deckhart is one of those people that if I ever had a chance to, sit down and interview with him, it would be such a dream come true. And he seems like the kind of person who would be up for it. Because he's so good to his fans. I feel like right now he's being bombarded by so many people because Detroit Become Human is still pretty fresh and new, and the Connor army is very, very, very active. And I feel like if I were to reach out to him now, I would just be a very quiet blip on his radar. Not because he's ignoring me, but just because I'm sure he's being bombarded by a lot of people. He's getting a lot of attention right now. And so Brian Deckhart, I can see myself maybe reaching out to him or trying to reach out to him in 2 years at least. Waiting 2 years and be like, hey, I'm one of Connor Army and, would you be willing to have an interview? Because he's probably good. The man also just got married. So he's got a lot going on. I'm assuming, he's got a lot going on. And I love him. I really love him. If I ever get to meet him, online, that would be amazing. I admire the man a lot. And I really obviously, I'm a big fan of his work. And definitely support him. Definitely subscribe to him. So he's awesome. I love him. Connor, love him so much. He streamed Tales from the Borderlands and got Troy Baker for the finale, I think. Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that. I was so jealous that he was there in the same room with Troy Baker. One can dream. One can dream. Imagine what would happen if you lost your hand. Wait, your mother is your sister? Well, according to Mortimer, he said that Sarah DeRoche is his daughter. So if Sarah Derochet is his daughter and Louis is his son, that means Sarah is actually his sister, which is weird. Yeah, I guess the writers wanted a punch at the end. What would you have done if you had complete control over the character as a tabletop RPG? That's a good question. I would have not. I think most of the things that I did up to that point would have been let's see. I think what I would have done is I would have not tried to manipulate anyone, not have to be forced to manipulate anyone on what they would or would not vote. I basically would have told Mortimer our front, look, I like that you are trying to advance humanity. Everything you're saying makes sense. Your ideals make sense. But the one thing I disagree with is the part where you want me to like take over people's bodies and manipulate them, brainwash them into doing something against their will that they normally wouldn't do. All kidding aside, of course, because my favorite skill is manipulation. All kidding aside about that. But like completely brainwashing or controlling their bodies and minds, that's what I would disagree with, and I would not have, jumped through the hoops that I was jumping through the hoops because the game was forcing me to jump through those hoops to help Mortimer, if that makes sense. Well, I think other than being disoriented at the start, and then a few people mentioning it, but I don't know if it affects the finale since you only need one hand to use a spear. True. Hopefully they take their time with the next one and maybe hire a head writer-editor to reel in some of the more ridiculous ideas. Yeah, I agree with that. Send them a mail for that, the music deal. I might have to. I mean, demons can body jump, so it's possible that he only took repossession and then pieced out when he got crucified, or when he resurrected after 30 days. He was like, whoops, probably should leave since humans can't resurrect like that. Haha. That is interesting. You think there are angels in the world? What differences would demons and angels have in the world? I mean, I'm a Catholic, so I have the Catholic like the Catholic believes of what angels are. So I do believe in my personal beliefs. I do believe in guardian angels, and I do believe that they are beings that watch over people and try to help out. They're like the right hand of the maker, or the right hand of the maker. Yes, it's pretty much how I envision them to be. Obviously, like, your mileage may vary based on what you believe or don't believe in, but I do believe that angels exist. That's just me being a Catholic. So he even guest starred in a Jacksepticeye vid, so I'm sure he can do a Let's Talk Hangout with you. Oh, well, I mean, Jacksepticeye, yeah. Those two have such a bromance. It's ridiculously fun. Not even a bromance. I love that episode because Jack and him, they sort of like have this father-son relationship, which is adorable, which is very similar to Hank and Connor's relationship. They've got Hank and Connor have that father-son relationship that I see that some other people see more as a romantic relationship. So that is the analogy I have with Brian Descartes and Jacksepticeye, in that I see them as having a father-son relationship, but then other people see them as having a bromance relationship. So the two of them are really adorable, and the chemistry between them, the way they play off of each other is great. Brian's great. Brian's really great. He's fun. I don't know if Brian and I would share the same chemistry. That's the only thing, because he's... When I watch him, I can tell that he's a super nice guy. We would get along, but I feel like interacting with him, we probably would have very, very different chemistry versus him and Jacksepticeye. So I don't know if anyone would be interested if I did interview Brian in the same way, but that would be super awesome if he did. So Christ and Lucifer was actually Mortimer's dad and another brother getting into a spat. Interesting. Louis' seduction is totally different. He has natural charm without demonesis. Would you have preferred if they did the story a little different, where the mother was actually crazy and not true, and you would have to make a choice to side with her or not, while the whole conference thing is still going on with multiple endings? That would have been really cool. That would have been really cool if his mom was actually crazy, and because you feel like you should listen to your mom because she's your mom, but then you find out that she was actually crazy the whole time, and then you have to decide, all right, do I still follow my mom because she's my mom, or do I go against my mom because she's crazy? I think that would be really interesting. Speaking of a Let's Talk, I asked this question before, but you thought about doing a Life is Strange Season 2 Let's Talk and discussing about the series, because I'd be so down with that. Yeah, I feel like I could do a Let's Talk with Life is Strange if I do Life is Strange Season 2, but most likely it would just end up being a Life is Strange Season 2 Let's Talk overall once I'm done Let's Playing the game, for two reasons. One, my Let's Playing schedule is so busy right now because I'm in the middle of playing Persona 5, and I'm about to start playing Kingdom Hearts 3, and Resident Evil 2 Reboot. I also have other games on my plate that I've purchased and other people have purchased for me that I'm trying to play. And then there's other games that I'm still trying to finish up that are long and are taking more than a year to finish, like Divinity Original Sin 2 and Borderlands, the Borderlands trilogy. That still is on my plate. Never mind the fact that I am trying to have a child. We're trying to have a baby. So I've got a lot going on, and so I have to be a lot more choosy and a lot more practical about what I will and will not be able to do. And so instead of doing a Let's Talk of every single episode of Life is Strange Season 2, I may decide to just do one Let's Talk of the game overall when I've finished beating all the episodes. And that's if I find the time to do it. So I'm glad to hear that there's interest. Hopefully I will have the time to do it. Before the demon reveal, a lot of people just would have thought Elizabeth had like a mental disorder, and back then people were like sterilized or so and not taken seriously, or burned as a witch or so. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, back in the day when before modern medicine, like, people did believe that the vast majority who went insane is because of demonic possession. So, and a lot of the measures that they took was specifically to scare the demons away. And of course that became the basis of a lot of horror movies. So the things that was going on with Elizabeth made a lot of sense from a narrative standpoint. That could work too. I just hope the episodes come sooner, because episode 2 is taking forever to come out, and I'm worried when all the episodes comes out in 2009 would be over. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in a rush Personally, I'm not in a rush for the Life is Strange episodes to come out as soon as possible, simply because I have plenty of other games that is keeping me distracted. So it doesn't bother me that much if they decide to take a little bit longer to release the episodes of Life is Strange Season 2, but I definitely understand that big fans of the games want those episodes to come out sooner than later. You know, I just want to make sure that I'm a big firm believer that a game should only be released when it's ready, and it should not be rushed. As a programmer myself, a huge advocate of do not rush a game. I would rather a game came out later and was more polished than came out sooner and was rushed. Every single time, I would rather have that happen. And the unfortunate thing is the vast majority of gamers don't seem to believe in that as much, and I think that's a problem when a game company is being pressured to release a game sooner than it's actually ready, and then the gamers complain when the game is buggy or it feels rushed, and it's like, well, you should have been more understanding of them to try to release the game later, so that it's actually like a little bit more polished than before. I wasn't really keeping up, but nice if the next episode came out earlier the next year till then. Yeah. I think if it'd be nice. I agree that if they should release all episodes of Life is Strange Season 2. They should release it well before the end of 2019. Like, it would be ridiculous, I think, if they took longer than that, especially because if it's an episodic game. It would be nice if all of the games were released within the first half of 2019, but I think realistically, if it takes them until a little bit after the first half of 2019, that's fine. Not the end of the day. Not the end of the world. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching the finale episode of The Council with me, warts and all. I hope you enjoyed the experience through all of the games with me, whether you like the game itself. I hope that you were at least semi-reasonably entertained by my Let's Play. And I've got a lot. There's a lot of games that is coming out on my channel in the next early this coming year. Lots of content. Persona 5, I've already released the first 3 episodes of Persona 5 to all my Patreons. That's coming out this week. Starting tomorrow is the first episode, but I'm experimenting. Right now I'm experimenting on releasing episodes of Persona a week in advance to all of the for all the Patreon. And I think that's more than fair, since it's because of my Patreon supporters that this LP even exists, because they helped pay for my PlayStation as well as for my capture card. So of course they should be able to get first dibs on the Persona episodes, because they deserve it. It makes sense to me. So look forward to that. And then of course there are the other games that I was talking about as well. Well, companies are not pressured that much by gamers. The ones who rush games are the ones with stocks open to the market and pressured by investors to make up with their investment ASAP. That's very true, Warm Fireplace. Yay, great stream, thanks. At least it's episodic, so I have a bit more than time rather than like one full game and going back to like do patches and bugs and stuff. Exactly. That's what I love about episodic games, even though I know most people, not most, even though a lot of people don't particularly care for episodic games, I really love them, and one of the reasons is that. Next game on the stream queue, Life is Strange 2, episode 2, which I believe is coming out at the end of January. So that is the next live stream that I will be doing. Yay, Patreon privilege. Yeah, oh yes, lots of Patreon privilege. I'm going to watch that right after the stream. Good, I hope you enjoyed, Hannah. I don't know if you've seen Persona 5 played before. It's a really fun game. I really, really, really love that game. And the Let's Play, like, hopefully it shows on my Let's Play. Hopefully by me having a lot of fun with the game, it's also fun for everybody watching the Let's Play. So, great, looking forward to that. Awesome. Cool. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching, and a very special thank you to Evan, Commander Root, Kodpetokes, Positivity Bot, Hannah, Skinny Seahorse, Tade, and Warm Fireplace for staying with me till the very end. You did not have to do that, but thank you so much for your time and for being there with me during this holiday weekend. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next live stream. So until next time, love yourselves and love each other.